This episode of Simple Civics Greenville County is brought to you by Dolly Parton's Imagination Library, providing free books to children 0 to 5 throughout Greenville County. To sign up, visit greenvillefirststeps.org/freebooks. That's greenvillefirststeps.org/freebooks.
If you've spent any warm summer evening in the west end of downtown Greenville, you've likely heard the crack of a bat, the roar of a crowd, and the unmistakable energy radiating from Fluor Field. But while thousands of us head to the ballpark for hot dogs and the high A baseball, what is happening at the corner of Main and Field Street is actually a masterclass in local economic development. A stadium doesn't just anchor a neighborhood by accident. It requires vision, strategy, and a massive amount of collaboration with local government. I'm Katy Smith with Greater Good Greenville, and on this episode of Simple Civics Greenville County, I talk with Jeff Brown, president of the Greenville Drive. Jeff and his family have spent the last 2 decades building the Drive into what they call a community engagement platform. Today, Jeff joins me to unpack the team's history, the staggering $300 million economic impact the stadium has driven over the last decade, and the intricate public-private partnerships that transformed the West End from a quiet industrial district into the vibrant community hub it is today. Take a listen so you can experience your next ball game through a civic lens and better understand how local government and sports franchises can team up to hit a home run for our county's economy. I'm so pleased to be joined by Jeff Brown, president of the Greenville Drive, to talk about one of Greenville's greatest amenities. Thanks so much for being here, Jeff.
No, thanks for having me.
Great. All right. I hope everyone listening has had the pleasure of watching a Greenville Drive game or visiting the beautiful Fluor Field for some other reason other than baseball. But for those who haven't, Jeff, give us the overview. What should people know?
It's just such an interesting story. I mean, it's a community story, right? So we've been here in Greenville. Dad brought the team to Greenville in the early 2000s. 2005 was actually our first year here. We played as the Greenville Bombers out at Conestee, where Greenville Little League plays now. And, it was an interesting opportunity. The Braves were here for many years. This is a baseball town. People love baseball. It was a very supportive, community. When the concept came, everybody wanted baseball back in the Upstate, back in Greenville. But then in 2006 is when the Drive was created. The stadium was moved downtown. West End Field was built at the time, became Fluor Field in 2008. And that downtown kind of stadium location, that was a little bit of controversy just because of the location, but it was part of the revitalization of the downtown. It had started at that point, but we needed something to bring the development west and to have a ballpark, a stadium with the community orientation that we do to kind of spur the development and the activity in that area. If Dad tells the story, he knew enough about business to build the stadium, create the Drive, and then we'll see what happens, kind of a thing. We'll sell it. There was never a plan to this was what we're going to do full time for many years. It was just a really interesting opportunity that emerged. And then as Dad tells the story, he fell in love with the community. And so West End Field debuted in 2006, April 6, 2006. And, really the rest is history. And, the first 10 years that we were here, kind of 6 to 16 or 15, 16, we still weren't fully here in the community, kind of family-wise. We were spread out a little bit, but Greenville became our home, became our gathering spot as a family. And it also happened to be at the same time that the development of Greenville really kind of went into a higher gear. And so 2016, after kind of 10 years of the team being here and some initial success and the like, I mean, it was clear that the growth and the opportunity of the platform was significant enough that we, decided that this was, as a family, that this was something that we really wanted to pursue. So we all moved down here in 16. I came first, my parents right after, same time, and then my sister came about a year or so later, and she runs our retail merchandise business, and Greenville's our home. This is where we live. So for 21 years here in the community, and then the last 10 years kind of fully living here in the community. So it's been an amazing journey for us. I think, again, sometimes people give us a little bit more credit, or Dad credit, for being this, visionary and seeing, we didn't see this. This has been incredible, and it's been involved so much more than just us. But it's been a neat story for us, neat story for Greenville, for the Upstate. And it's been, in a lot of ways, I'm really super pumped about the last 21 years, but also equally as excited about what's coming next.
I love that. Can you paint a visual? I mean, most people listening are longtime residents of Greenville or people who are newer comers but have fully embraced this place. But if someone has not seen the Greenville Drive Stadium, Fluor Field, will you paint a visual for them of what will they see?
Well, it's an exact replica of Fenway Park in Boston, so hopefully the listener has some idea of baseball and what Fenway means to Americana and baseball and the like. One of the oldest ballpark in baseball and the like. So we brought a mini replica of Fenway Park to downtown Greenville. Our partnership with the Red Sox goes all the way back to the very beginning. It's one of the most famous brands in all of sports. When you talk about Fenway Sports Group and all the different entities that they own, from the Red Sox to Fenway to Nesson to Pittsburgh Penguins, it's one of the largest holding companies in sports. So we have our relationship with the Red Sox in that regard. And then, we have, the stadium itself. And I think, so we privately own the stadium, built the stadium. The city provided the land. So that public-private partnership was a very unique arrangement from the beginning. So we own the ballpark, we own the drive. So kind of everything that we do at the stadium, from how to price a ticket to what do you sell concessions-wise to what kind of events do you host, what kind of partners do you have. I mean, that's all done under the lens of our offices behind left field. And there's 31 of us here full-time. And the lens that we operate the business, is it the right thing to do for the community? And I think you feel that when you come through our gates, when you come to our events, baseball games, and just year-round programming and the like. And it's a very personal business, and it's something that, yes, we kind of own and operate it, but if we're doing our job right, we want the community to feel like this is theirs. They own it.
I agree 100% that you have created that feeling, because I think that most listeners don't really think about that it is a private enterprise that your family owns and operates, because we all feel like it's ours. It's a civic experience going to a ball game and experiencing the space outside of the field. So thank you and congratulations for that.
Thank you for coming and supporting us. That's key to the whole thing.
Okay, well, so you and your dad, Craig, have frequently noted that you're not just in the baseball business, you're in the community business. So for listeners who see Fluor Field strictly as a sports venue, how does that philosophy translate into your day-to-day operations?
I think it goes back to what I said, earlier too, our schedule, and it's a busy schedule when you look at it from a calendar basis. We have 66 Greenville Drive home games every year that run from early April to Labor Day. We have about 30 or so amateur baseball games between college and high school games in the Southern Conference tournament that play at the stadium every year. And then we have a whole separate West End events at Fluor Field division, which is, we define those events as any event that happens at the ballpark, not on a baseball game day. And we had 150 West End events at the stadium last year, ranging from, weddings and rehearsal dinners and board meetings to, we had 10,000 people almost at the stadium last Saturday on July 4th for Freedom Fest, which was an incredible gathering and celebration for our community around kind of our nation's 250th birthday. So the way that we operate from a calendar standpoint is, we lay our calendar out, drive calendar and then year-round calendar. And it's all about relationships. It's all about community. It's all about how can we use the ballpark, put the ballpark at the center of the community. And there is some appeal when you say, it's a stadium, it's a ballpark, it's, you get some attention, you get people attracted to, and then once you have their attention, then it can be, okay, we really want to lean in and do some kind of celebration for some specific community group, or it's a workforce event, or it's a community event that has nothing to do with a baseball game around July 4th, or it's a Veterans Day concert, so we really bottoms up our calendar every day of the year, every year. And it's all about how do we use the kind of the buzz of a baseball stadium, the buzz of a professional sports league, to then kind of use that. You got people's attention, and okay, then how do you use it for community impact and good? So that's, in a nutshell, kind of from a broader strategy standpoint, that I think people, again, when you see our calendar and you kind of see, man, there's something every night. How are they coming? That's very intentional. That's not by accident. Every day of the year is programmed for one way or another.
Yeah, I just want to say that I've enjoyed so many things outside of baseball. Like, I've been there for United Way gatherings, community foundation gatherings, different nonprofit celebrations. My kids' high school had their parent night celebration there. So it's really fun to see the space optimized for everybody's experience year round.
The unique part about it is, there are events you can host anywhere. There's nothing proprietary about the ballpark or our event spaces that make it could only host this type of event in our space. It's because of the backdrop. It's because of the stadium. It's because of the place in the community and the like that makes our hosting these types of events that much more kind of unique and impactful.
Well, you referred to the public-private partnership that helped make this possible. And from a civic planning perspective, minor league stadiums rarely succeed in a vacuum. They require that deep alignment with local government. So I'd love for you to pull back the curtain and talk more about the partnership between the Drive and the City of Greenville that got Fluor Field built. And maybe in that, describe a little bit about what was there before the Drive for those people who haven't lived here a long time.
So there really wasn't anything there. I mean, I think the early years when we played our games, it was called the West End Field at the Lumberyard. It used to be an abandoned lumberyard in that area. I mean, the Greenville High School is obviously there, and if people can visualize our team store, like our merchandise store right now, that's the second oldest firehouse in South Carolina. That was there. So those two things were there and nothing else. So that's why everybody in Greenville, because I mean, in the Upstate, this is such a baseball town. Like baseball is so part of the DNA of the Upstate. Like everybody wanted baseball back. They loved that idea. But then putting it downtown was controversial. I mean, they kind of, most of the town, kind of 3 out of every 4 people wanted it back at Conestee, back outside. But I mean, having a downtown stadium to help, again, there's an energy, there's a buzz, there's an excitement that comes with that we were excited about. And did we think it was going to achieve what this has exceeded everybody's expectations. This has been incredible. And again, involves a lot more than just us, but it's been a really neat journey. And I mean, the public-private partnership is really the backbone of how this has worked from the very beginning. I mentioned it earlier that, most new stadiums or arenas, if you're reading stories today, I mean, having a privately owned, arena, that's unique. I mean, that's not common in our town or really in the industry, in any sports industry. So the arrangement with the city, that the city provided the land underneath us on a long-term lease basis, and we privately built the ballpark, was a unique proposition that, really ensured alignment from both sides from the very beginning. We've been attached at the start of, we're both motivated to have this succeed in the most significant way possible. And it really started with the public-private notion of the land in the ballpark. And then it's continued in various capacities over the last 21 years. I mean, the trolleys are a great example of kind of the aspect of the public-private partnership. District 356, which we added right after COVID, again, owned by the land owned by the city. We operate the street. Another great example of public-private partnership. So, I mean, we're constantly working with the city on various aspects of, it goes back to that point of, we want everyone in Greenville, the city included, to feel like this is theirs as much as it is ours.
So the economic impact has been huge. A recent study highlighted that you all have generated over $300 million in direct economic impact over the last 10 years, with 450 new business permits issued within just a half mile of a park. I mean, that's incredible. So from a tax and governance standpoint, how does that growth loop back to benefit residents here in Greenville County?
Yeah, so last year was our 20th anniversary, and, working with Visit Greenville, University of South Carolina, two of our, closest partners, we've wanted to do an economic impact study, or kind of push forward a study, for many years. And it just meant it made sense last year with the 20th anniversary and unveiling the results right before opening day last year. And the $300 million figure was significant. It was great to have a very kind of tangible number, because you walk around the West End today and you kind of look, you can feel it. You can see it, the number of businesses that are popping up, and it's every day that there's a new business or a new development. I mean, look around the ballpark, between the buildings that continue to pop up around us, from 408 Jackson to the Suncap development on the other side of the street. There's the whole development coming behind right field that'll be on the horizon soon. Yeah, I mean, it's again, the impact itself, from new job creation to real estate values to new business license and the like. I mean, it's tangible. You can see the numbers, you can feel it. And then, another critical piece of how we do things too, and specifically from a drive operation standpoint and then an event operation standpoint, is even as the appeal of the area, the buzz, the foot traffic, the values continue to increase. And this is where the private ownership piece comes in. I mean, if accessibility and affordability is so critical to everything that we do, and whether that's a drive baseball game, whether that's an event, whether that's just any kind of access to the ballpark. Major League Baseball did a study last year of the most affordable organizations across minor league baseball. There's 119 other Greenville Drives, 120 total affiliated teams, tickets, merch, food. We were the most affordable organization in the country. And
wow.
again, we take as much pride in that as we do like the quality and the cleanliness and the pride of the ballpark, because usually with the quality comes, you can't afford it. So the fact that you can have both right here is really important to us.
Okay, kudos and thank you. I did not know that, but I've experienced it, and I love that it's a number at the top of the chart. That's so great. Okay, minor league sports franchises can sometimes feel transient, but you guys are deeply woven into our civic identity. And I see you work alongside county leaders, school leaders, nonprofits to ensure that it is accessible to all residents, not just in the pricing as you described, but just in the welcome that you put out. How do you make that happen?
Yeah, I mean, I think the partnerships, they're so critical to everything that we do. I mean, again, it's whether that's our corporate partners, whether that's our community partners, whether that's, philanthropic partners. I mean, you can explain the platform in a lot of different ways to folks. I mean, there's a lot of reasons why the Upstate and Greenville continue to succeed, right? There's a lot of quality of life advantages. There's a lot of reasons why more and more people are moving to this area, rankings and top and best downtown this, and then what we want to do and what we try to do, or one part of what we try to do is we've got 3,000 or 4,000 people gathering at our ballpark every night for the most part. And don't take for granted the reasons why you fell in love with this community or why you chose to come to this community. There's a lot of reasons why that you did. I mean, whether it's corporate investment from certain partners, whether it's just cool things that are happening in town, whether it's the downtown or the commitment from our, how our government's operating, or, just all of these. And so we kind of treat ourselves as this large spotlight as people are gathering, and then here are the stories that we can tell about why our community is continuing to succeed in the way that it is. That's a huge part of what we do. And again, it's still fun. It's still, you can have a great experience, and it's still minor league baseball, but it's also an opportunity to really showcase why this community specifically is very unique and continues to succeed.
All right, so as we continue to face rapid population growth, that's the biggest theme that comes up in all of our interviews with candidates, and how our demographics are shifting. How do you see the relationship, or do you see the relationship between local government and the Drive evolving in any ways? What's the next civic inning for Fluor Field and the West End?
Yeah, I think, the biggest thing for us, continuous improvement is really, we talk about it every day. And again, that it's nature of our schedule that we have kind of the same number of Drive games, a lot of the same number of events. A lot of our events are annual events that happen each year and the like. So if we did the same thing every year, people would love it, but then it hit a point where it would get stale very fast. So continuous improvement from what kind of events that we host, continuous improvement in terms of investment in the ballpark, investment in the infrastructure. We added a grab-and-go shortstop concession stand last year. We totally renovated our suite level. You have to innovate, you have to add and invest in our product infrastructure-wise to ensure it's fresh, ensure it's something, again, that there's a pride piece for the community. So I think from a government and a civic relationship standpoint, it's the same thing. We've continued to evolve the relationship, and we're always looking at different ways that we can partner and work together, and they can help us and we can help them and vice versa. And it's just such a core piece of everything, of why we've been successful from the start and why we'll continue to see success kind of going forward.
Well, Jeff, thank you so much for being here, and truly thanks to you and your family for embedding yourselves in the community as much as you've embedded the Drive. We've all benefited and really appreciate it.
Thank you for having me. I really appreciate the time and the opportunity.
Hi, Simple Civics Greenville County listeners, Nathaniel here. If you've made it this far, then we think you'll really love our newsletter. Sign up for bonus content, updates, and more right in your inbox. Look for the link in the description that says newsletter to sign up, or visit us at simplecivicsgreenvillecounty.org. Find the link in the menu that says newsletter and sign up there. We'll see you again next week.